Velocity, money, peace, and blessings. All right, so yeah, getting into the Mars Stambhana situation. Stambhana pretty much being the Stambhana being the don't have the word for it. Stambhana being the condition, right? I don't know why it took me so long to find that motherfucking word. But Stambhana being the condition to where a planet significations become frozen. They become stilled. A planet is not able to properly perform or act as it normally would due to its conjunction with a normal planet or whatnot, right? When a planet is Stambhana, it doesn't mean that the planet is completely useful or that it will give no fruits at all. You know, sometimes it can give exceptional fruits in a certain way. But when the planet is Stambhana, it will show, you feel me, that there are some core qualities of this planet that aren't properly functioning or that aren't functioning, you know, as that planet would normally want them to, right? So yeah, getting to it. So Mars Stambhana, what is Mars, right? First of all, Mars is the commander. Mars is the warrior chief. Mars is the what? The warrior, the soldier, the military man, the policeman, the whatnot, the martial artist. You feel me? Mars is pretty much the individual who was here to protect and to enforce the law, right? To make sure the kingdom doesn't fall apart, to make sure people are abiding by the rules, laws, and regulations of the kingdom, you know, to make sure that the enemy invaders don't lawlessly overpower the kingdom or the neighborhood or the country or whatever you want to call it, right? Mars is defense, right? Mars is strength, power, masculinity, all that and whatnot. And a very strong, a very dignified, a very powerful, a well situated Mars within an individual's chart, it will show that this individual is not easy to anger. And it will show this individual is not easily controlled by others. Their willpower is ultimate. Their ability to put their mind to something and to get a particular thing accomplished is ultimate. You feel me? And they're not too focused on others. They're not too focused on they're not jealous. They're not trying to take something from somebody else that's weakness to them. A very strong, a very powerful, a very dignified Mars is really situated in self-empowerment, self-discipline. You know what I'm saying? Breaking through their own self-limitations or whatnot. And protecting the people. That's how they're focused on people. What can I do for the community? What can I do to bring a better balance to the world? What can I do to provide? What can I do to make sure that people are safe? People who don't have power, people who don't have strength, people who don't have the ability to protect themselves. What can I do to make sure that these people are safe and okay? Right? That's a well-placed Mars. That's a dignified Mars or whatnot. Right? And when it comes to Mars being frozen or Stambhana, when its conjunction is with Rahu, which is the North Node, right? One of the ways that Mars kind of goes off course, a very strong or a normally strong, I want a normally strong Mars, right? It's hard to anger this individual, right? And Mars does what needs to be done in order to accomplish a task. He doesn't do more. He doesn't do less. He does exactly what needs to be done. He's efficient. He doesn't waste energy. He doesn't waste time, you know, in purposeless or senseless matters or whatnot, right? Now, when Mars comes into contact with Rahu, you can see that these people can have a serious temperament or, you know, can have some serious anger issues about themselves, right? Can be loud, can look for conflict, can look for pointless battle, can waste energy getting into pointless scuffles or conflicts or fights or battles, or you know, they can even like to fight. They can thrive off of that. They Mars and Rahu inflates the egotistical sense or the lower nature of Mars, which can be egotistical, which can be domineering, which can be wanting to secure, you know, certain types of power, certain types of dominion or control within reality. You know what I'm saying? The lower nature of Mars, which can be abusive, You know what I'm saying? Which could be threatening, which can be a bully, right? Whenever Rahu comes into a combination with any planet, it usually inflates the lower tendencies of that planet. Our planet conjunct with Rahu, it'll show you that you didn't necessarily, this is, this planetary aspect is something that you lack within a previous lifetime, and you've come here now to experience it, right? And because you've lacked it within a previous lifetime, you don't have the experience of it. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to fall into the lower nature of that planet than it is to go to the higher, more masterful states and nature of that planet, if it makes sense, right? So, I mean, just to see like a person who might have never, who might have felt like or might have lacked a Martian quality or might have lacked a position of power or whatever you want to call it, to get it in this life, you might just abuse it. Who knows? You feel me? Or you might get a little arrogant. You might have a hard time controlling your anger or lashing out on motherfuckers or doing destructive shit. Who knows, right? Not to say everybody with this conjunction is just going to be an anger maniac. Not to say that everybody with this conjunction is just going to catch random bodies or just go around chopping heads off or anything like that. The rest of the chart definitely is a factor that you have to look at. You feel me? And it's not going to play out the same for every single body with this conjunction. I'm just saying, like, certain qualities in relation to the anger about this Mars when it's conjunct Rahu would definitely be noticeable, even if the individual doesn't show it externally. He doesn't show it outwardly. You know, there will be some internal themes of realizing that, you feel me, anger is present, or you know what I'm saying, the temper is present, or you might want to do something to somebody, or you might want to, you feel me, feel like you want to put hands on somebody, or you know what I'm saying, just do something whenever you feel disrespected or whatever you want to call it, right? So that's one aspect of this combination. This is also called it's also known as Angkaric yoga, right? Which is one of the yogas that Lord Shiva supposedly had within his chart. And if you know anything about some of the history of Lord Shiva, you feel me? He had an anger problem. He had a real anger problem at one point in time, to where he had to deposit his anger, or that anger principle that he had, into an avatar called Durvasa. And Durvasa Muni, you know, incarnated on the planet and was pretty much a very spiritually powerful yet angry Rishi or whatnot, right? Or Muni, right? A very spiritually powerful individual, but he had an anger problem as well. And not only Durvasa Muni, but also an avatar of Lord Shiva, Ashwatthama in the Mahabharata, right? Ashwatthama, he crashed out. What did he crash out? I need to catch up back on the stories and shit. But Ashwatthama, he crashed out as, you know, niggas was losing the war, and they seen the Pandava brothers going against a lot of the rules and the customs and things like that and whatnot. I think he crashed out after, if I'm not mistaken, he crashed out after Bhima defeated Duryodhana in the mace battle or whatnot. Bhima cheated. Bhima cheated at the instruction of Lord Krishna and whatnot, and yeah, that, I think that set that's the last thing that set Ashwatthama off, if I'm not mistaken. But Ashwatthama, he crashed out. You know what I'm saying? He took it way too far. He killed innocent members of the Pandava family over that, and that's taking it too far off of your anger. You feel me? Taking it too far when you're in your feelings, or when you feel like somebody has done you a wrong or an injustice. You know what I'm saying? This can be one of the qualities of Mars when it comes into contact with Rahu. You feel me? Mars is a righteous planet. Mars is an auspicious planet. You feel me? Mars is for the protection. But when it comes into contact with Rahu, it's going to be like a two-headed beast, or like you said, the two wolves within the individual, if you want to call it, right? So on the one hand, you can have the potentiality, or you can have the desire, or you can have the principle of wanting to do good, wanting to do things the right way, you feel me, wanting to be that auspicious individual. But Rahu can try to corrupt or try to, bring a criminal aspect to that, or you feel me, try to take shortcuts. You feel me? It could try to like not give a fuck. You feel me? I just want to do it the way that I want to do it. Whatever you want to call it or whatnot, right? And that can be a real struggle, a real tense struggle within the individual. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be. Definitely depends upon the rest of the chart structure and the situation. But you feel me? The Mars and Rahu yoga, it can definitely sometimes cause the individual to just passionately act without thought and without caring about right or wrong or whatever. Lord Krishna had this combination within his birth chart. He had Mars, Rahu in the third house. Venus is also with him and whatnot, right? And Lord Krishna, you feel me? He I believe he stole Rukmini, however you say her name, but he stole her from a neighboring kingdom or whatnot, right? And that's against Dharma. I'm pretty sure she probably wanted him. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? She probably was down with the whole situation and whatnot. But that's against Dharma. Like, you go to a woman's father, you feel me? You don't just take somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, you do it the right way, you feel me? You present yourself, you bring a certain level of offering, you know what I'm saying? And you leave it to her as if to whether she wants to walk with you or she wants to go with you or not. But he just took her or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? And Lord Krishna, he instructed multiple times the Pandavas to go against the rules, the constituents, to go against the regulations of normal battle. Now, he did it for a right reason, or to a reason that I agree with. I'm not even gonna lie, because you feel me, the Kauravas, you know what I'm saying, the opposite side or whatever, they was doing fuck shit from the start. They was doing non-dharmic evil activity from the start, trying to get the Pandava brothers pretty much wiped out of existence. You know what I'm saying? Duryodhana multiple times have attempted to take the lives of the Pandava brothers in secrecy. You know what I'm saying? I think he gave Beam some type of potion that knocked them out, and he tried to drown them in the youth. He made this house of ghee or whatever, this extremely flammable house, constructed this extremely flammable mansion for the Pandavas or whatever, and he had planned to pretty much get them niggas killed in the fire. Like, multiple times he did non-dharmic actions, backdoor actions, evil-hearted actions in order to ensure that his goal would be accomplished and that the Pandavas would be wiped out of existence and whatnot. So Lord Krishna, understanding that the opposite side, the enemy team, they're not going by Dharma, there's no reason for us to act like we have to abide by Dharma, or to act like, you feel me, we have to abide by the rules of warfare, because if we do, we're not going to be able to win the war. If we abide by the rules of warfare completely, we're surely going to lose. And non-dharma or a-dharma is surely going to be it's surely going to take an even stronger fruit within the next yuga cycle, right? So just pulling it back to the Mars, I know I went off on a tangent or whatever, pulling it back to the Mars arousal situation. Mars and Rahu, it can shows a propensity to go against the law, or to feel like you have your own law. You know what I'm saying? Like, a scripture or a book or a policy might say this is right, but I don't care. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't care about the rules. I don't care about the consequence, the karma. I don't care who thinks what about it. I'm going to do it the way that I feel is the essential or is the best way to do it. I don't care if it's criminal, nasty, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? With Mars and Rahu, it definitely can be rebellious, or it can go against societal structures in that particular way. Tupac had this conjunction as well. And, Tupac, he shot two cops. That's definitely that's some of the strongest against the law type shit that you could probably do in this society, whatever. But I even agree with Tupac in that instance that he did that, right? Because Pac, I forget exactly how the story go, but the cops was fucking with some innocent people or something like that, and Pac took it upon himself to shoot at two cops. You know what I'm saying? Like, that takes a lot of bravery, which can be indicated by this yoga. Like, a person has an inflated sense of self-bravery and an inflated sense of self-power and whatnot, right? You know what I'm saying? It can make a real brave and a real gutsy individual and whatnot, right? And so yeah, Pac, he shot two cops, you know what I'm saying? Definitely against the law. Pac definitely was an outspoken individual, whatever, you know what I'm saying, and then had his run-ins with the law and whatnot, and didn't give a fuck. You feel me? Did not care. Did not care. He didn't want to be a Nation of Islam type of guy, in the suit and tie. And we going not to talk shit about the Nation of Islam. You feel me? I definitely respect them brothers and what they got going on and whatnot. But he really wasn't that type of guy to be about the another organization's rule and law of order and politics, right? You know what I'm saying? Pac even used to start a lot of shit. He was very disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? He used to open up his mouth and used to say crazy shit, which is probably, what got him killed in the first place or whatnot, right? But that's the indication of the Mars and the Rahu situation, right? Can make it very fiery, can make it very mad, a very angry. It can really make a chaotic type of individual. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Rahu were to have, I guess, the better dignity or the better degree and whatnot, right? Uh, it can make a very focused individual as well, though. Like it's not that bad. Like Lord Shiva is said to have this combination within his chart and whatnot, right? It can make a very powerful individual. Shiva is one of the most powerful gods, right? You know what I'm saying? In the universe or whatnot, right? Uh, can make a very directed individual, a very masculine individual. It can give a person muscular tendency or propensity, or you feel me, an agile body, a strong body. You feel me, a body that can appear to be or come off as more powerful than most or whatnot, right? It can give a person certain specialties and weapons. You know what I'm saying? Or attraction of weapons, attraction of martial arts. You feel me? Attraction to even occult abilities like tantra, being able to do stuff or to do things. You feel me? To have abilities that give you more control over the reality. You know what I'm saying? Can be indicated by the Mars and Rahu combination and whatnot. What else? Mars represents the blood, and Rahu represents corruption. So when the Mars comes into contact with Rahu, be sure that the person will face lots of enemies. You know what I'm saying? It can even be ghostly type of enemies, unseen enemies, entities. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers who just don't like you and who don't care about going to war with you. People who don't care about going to war with you in a righteous manner. People who will use deceptions. People who will use, you could say witchcraft or, magic or, demonic activity. People who will use underhanded and undercover means to try to see that you are destroyed, or you know what I'm saying, you don't reach wherever you're supposed to reach or whatever the fuck, you feel me, you will encounter this, you know what I'm saying, and it's Mars and it's Rahu. These are very blunt, without warning type of energies, you know what I'm saying, just upfront and boom, there it is type of energy. So, a lot of times the shit can just happen to you, and with this Mars and Rahu combination, you will be called to just fight, to just react, to fight, to weather through the storm, to empower yourself, to add strength to yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you got Mars and Rahu, I would definitely say that, you know what I'm saying, you want to focus on strengthening the Mars, making the Mars so strong that it can't be corrupted by the propensities of Rahu, right? So, you know what I'm saying? This would definitely entail making sure that you're eating the proper foods to keep the blood clean, making sure that you have a strict regulated schedule in relation to exercising your body, or in relation to exercising your willpower, right? And make sure that you can follow that sternly to the ability to where the Mars becomes exceptionally profound, you know what I'm saying, as you cultivate it or whatnot, right? That will help bring you to a level as to where the enemies just get burned off. They can't fuck with you, right? And they know not to fuck with you. They fear you and whatnot, right? And yeah, Mars and Rahu. This I actually came across that this is like yoga that is a representation of the battle of Lakshmana with Indrajit, which is the son of Ravana and whatnot, right? So when Lakshmana and Indrajit got the battling, Indrajit resorted to, or is it Lakshmana, or is it Indrajit and Hanuman? Yeah, I got to get back into the teachers, man. I'm fucking falling. I'm slipping. This is crazy. But either way, it was either Lakshmana or it was either Hanuman. One of them got poisoned. One of them, not poisoned, got hit with some dark magic, some black magic, whatever, by Indrajit, and they was incapacitated. I think it was Lakshmana, and I think Hanuman had leaped and he had got some herbs. I'm going to look up the story after I get off this motherfucking video or whatever. But anyway, one of them had got incapacitated by dark magic. You know what I'm saying? And Hanuman, I believe, leaped off into the distance, went and got these special herbs or whatever, and brought it back to Lakshmana. And he pretty much brought Lakshmana back to his senses, and Lakshmana was able to kill Indrajit. But this story is a signification of this yoga. So what it's pretty much saying is that the enemies can get you through some type of deceptive practice or whatever you want to call it. They can get you through some backdoorian, some backdoor or some underhanded type of means or whatever in the beginning. But it shows that Mars eventually will overcome. You will overpower. You know what I'm saying? You will regain your strength, and you will be able to defeat the enemy in the end. After going through that initial trial or tribulation or whatnot, right? But yeah, overall, the reason that it's Stambhana or the reason that it gets frozen, you know what I'm saying? It's not really able to ascend into the perfected level of Mars, but at the same time, can we say that? Because Lord Krishna had it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is perfection? Like, this is God in this is God in the flesh. God in the flesh came down to the earth. God in the flesh told niggas to not follow bullshit ass rules, and God in the flesh had thousands of bitches. You know what I'm saying? So what are we to really say that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? This is the righteous way. You feel me? This is the perfect way. This is the top tier. You have to have a suit and tie. You have to abide by every rule and dharma, 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 right? Who are we to say that? You know what I'm saying? Uh, and Lord Krishna, he had a debilitated too. He had a debilitated Mars with Rahu. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? And Lord Krishna, the life story of Krishna. Krishna was constantly, damn near constantly in warfare, especially when he was a child or whatever, right? Constantly coming across demons that he had to kill, you know? Gang shit, you feel me? Lawlessness, constantly coming across lawlessness that he had to slay, you know what I'm saying? And, stuff like that or whatever, He was a major figure in the Mahabharata. He wasn't fighting, but you know what I'm saying? He was in the midst of this chaos within the midst of the warfare. That's one signification of this conjunction too. A person can often find themselves in the midst of warfare and whatnot. Even the general butt naked. This is an actual person. If you do not know, this is an actual former war general, based out of Liberia, I believe, or whatnot. His name is General Butt Naked. He got his name because the nigga used to go butt naked in battle and used to get off. You know what I'm saying? He used to slay niggas. You feel me? They say he was operated with some powerful form of witchcraft to where he would take all his clothes off, bullets would bounce off his body. You know what I'm saying? He snatch out the heart of babies and drink the blood. Niggas was abused women and just all type of satanic shit. But he ended up turning his life around or whatnot, right? And becoming a Christian preacher. He ended up leaving that alone to become, a preacher for the Lord or whatever you want to call it or whatnot, right? And he had Mars, Rahu, and the moon conjunct in the Nishta of Capricorn, right? And you feel me? For a great part of his life, he was immersed in chaos, immersed in warfare, immersed in deep levels of insane level of warfare that most people aren't even used to hearing about, right? This is what he experienced, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta believe, like, whatever deities or whatever spirits or whatever that he was praying to or that he occupied himself to in the beginning, as to where they had the nigga eating baby hearts and drinking blood and all this other shit, you got to know that they're probably more on the Rahu side of things or whatnot, right? But it's just another representation of the potentialities of the way that this combination could spill. Even Tupac with the Mars and Rahu, he had Mars and Rahu and Capricorn. You feel me? Tupac, being in the industry, having to deal with all the backdoor contracts, the Illuminati. You feel me? The behind the scenes, him potentially getting knocked off by Puffy, and all the extra shit. Cat Williams, he had Mars and Rahu and Capricorn as well. You know what I'm saying? Cat Williams pretty much having to go down the same road and whatnot, trying to be a part of Hollywood. You feel me? But not necessarily being able to capitulate fully to their system or whatnot. That's one quality the Mars and Rahu can show. Mars is righteous and it's auspicious at the end of the day, so it can show an individual that's not able to fully get down with the evil programming. Even though General Butt Naked did, he still switched his life around and went for the Lord in the end or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Tried to, like, even though he killed so many people and did so many demonic and devilish acts, which was because he had the moon conjuncted too, in the end, he still, you know what I'm saying, wanted to do right and go the true Martian way, if that makes sense or whatnot. But this is the Mars and Rahu Stambhana video. If I come up with something else off the top of my head, I'll type it in the comments, Velocity.